So in this video, I'm going to be listing the top 10 quarterbacks from the 2021-22 NFL season. This list is not going to be in any particular order because almost every guy on this list, except for one man, okay, there's one man that's on this list that I can say was the definite number one quarterback. But everybody else had a stretch of bad games or a stretch of games where they looked, decent. So again, just want to reiterate, this is not in any particular order except for one man, because I tried so hard to rank these dudes and I just couldn't come to a final conclusion. So also, this list will not be based solely off of stats. It would be based off what I saw on the field and who I was most impressed by for the most part. Here I go. Number 10, Taylor Heinicke. He threw for a total of 3,419 yards, 20 touchdowns. He had 15 interceptions. I like Taylor Heinicke. I was really impressed with his mobility. Him trying to buy time in the pocket, allowing his receivers to get open. And even if he did have a clean pocket to throw from, he would try and go through his reads and look for the open man. Also, he definitely has some swag to him. I like his confidence. I think he's a competitor. I was really impressed with those two things the most. He's not afraid to push the ball down the field, but I would say going forward, he needs to work on the accuracy of his passes. I think they go a bit too high, too often. If Taylor Heinicke can work on the accuracy and be more precise, he could be Washington's franchise QB. You never know. So Taylor Heinicke is my number 10. Number 9, Dak Prescott. He threw for a total of 4,449 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I was really impressed with his consistency during this season, going through his reads, making smart decisions with the football. Even in the games where he didn't look all that great, I was really impressed with the fact that he didn't seem rattled and he still tried to go through his reads and still try to make the smart play and try to keep his poise in the pocket. I think that Dak doesn't really have a whole lot of arm strength, especially when he's on the run and he's trying to avoid getting sacked. He has a hard time delivering the football to his target, but all in all, I was still impressed with Dak during this season. Number 8, Matt Ryan. He threw for a total of 3,968 yards. He had 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Despite working with yet another shit offensive line, I was really impressed with Matt this season. I thought he did a great job of evading pressure, making plays with his legs, getting the ball out of his hands to his receivers, and his deep ball looked better. It looked pretty good. But with that being said, I think that his time in Atlanta is coming to an end soon. It's time to move on to a fresh, new, young quarterback. So Matt Ryan is my number 8 QB on this list. Do I have to put this guy on here? Number 7, Tom Brady. He threw for a total of 5,316 yards, 43 touchdowns. He had 12 interceptions, as he should have, because he had Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin. Even when 2 of those guys went down, well, one of them went down, one of them went away, he still had some quality receiving talent on the roster. Tampa just had so much depth, and he had clean pockets to work from, and he did his usual dink and dunk bullshit. So yeah, Tom Brady, number 7. Let's move on. Number 6, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert threw for a total of 5,014 yards, 15 interceptions. He had a couple stinkers, but a lot of his games I came away from them saying to myself, he was good, but he could have been better. And that's probably because of the coaching. Maybe like for a good part of the season, he was throwing a lot of short passes, and I guess his coach finally said, I'm going to need you to push it down the field, and Herbert was like, thank God, and he seemed to have played a lot better going towards the end of the season. I like Herbert. I think he is the franchise quarterback, so Justin Herbert is number 6. Number 5, Pat Mahomes. This was by far his air quote worst season by Patrick Mahomes standards, but he threw for a total of 4,839 yards, 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He had a slump. He had a bump in the road to where he was missing throws that he normally makes, but after that, going towards the end of the season, he was able to get back in the swing of things, and he looked like the Patrick Mahomes that Kansas City Chiefs know and love, and anybody who's a fan of Mahomes loves to see, help getting them back to yet another AFC Championship game and giving them another opportunity to get back to the Super Bowl. We all know what happened in the second half of that game. I still think he is the best quarterback in the league, even though he struggled this season, but Patrick Mahomes is my number 5 on this list. Number 4, Josh Allen. He threw for a total of 4,470 yards, 36 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Last season, it finally looked like he had put it all together. He really looked like a franchise quarterback for Buffalo. Going into this season, I was saying, can he do this again? Can he be consistent? And he had an up and down year, but in the playoffs, he really stepped it up. He was phenomenal, and he cemented himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the league and a future superstar that's going to be around for a long time. So Josh Allen is my number 4. Number 3, Joe Burrow. He threw for a total of 4,611 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Second year in the league, and he helped lead Cincinnati to their third Super Bowl appearance in franchise history. And he almost became a champion. He came close. The Bengals came close. I like Joe Burrow. I think he can do it all. I think he showed that this season. I thought he turned the ball over a bit too much for me during the regular season, but during the playoffs, he did a much better job of taking care of the football. So Joe Burrow is my number 3. Number 2, Matthew Stafford. He threw for a total of 4,886 yards, 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. He started off pretty well during the season, but he hit a slump. Man, every single quarterback on this list had a stretch of bad games. He hit a bump in the road. He was just making poor decisions with the football. It was like, bro, what are you looking at? You're too good to be making these types of throws. I came away from this season thinking, could his arm strength be dwindling a little bit? I could be looking a bit too much into that. But with that being said, I thought he had a pretty good season. In the postseason, he played well. It's unfortunate that he wasn't able to put 2 complete halves of football together in the Super Bowl. But when it mattered most, though, he engineered some game-winning drives in the most critical situations. So Matthew Stafford is number 2. And number 1, the bona fide number 1 quarterback on this list is Sam Darnold. He threw for a total of 2,527 yards, 9 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I'm just kidding. It's Aaron Rodgers, the 4-time league MVP, threw for a total of 4,115 yards, 37 touchdowns, only had 4 interceptions. Outside of week 1, he was the best quarterback this season. He was the only one who was consistent. Even in their playoff loss, I thought he still played well. So Aaron Rodgers, the bona fide number 1 quarterback on this list. So that is my list. What's your guys' list? Please tell me in the comment section. This was hard to make. It really was, because everybody had such an up and down year. This was a weird year of football. So please hit the like button. Please comment, subscribe, and once again, tell me what your list is. And that is it. I am out.